Well, I have some good news and I have some bad news. Good news is if you own a home. Bad news is if you're living on your credit cards. And yes, cue the fireworks. We're going to go over what some of the Fed chairmen have to say. What are they going to do? And cue the fireworks again. Come on, let's see. What did Joe Biden just say about the debt ceiling topic? Wow, what a mess that is. All today on Real Estate Daily. Welcome, everybody. My name is Troy, and Monday through Friday, we're going to give you the best 5 minutes in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Yes, you're chomping at the bit. What are those mortgage rates? That's the bad news. I'll just tell you that much. Let's go right there. But if you're a seller out there, which it looks like we saw a bump up in listings last week, well, then you took advantage of my free seller's guide. If you haven't, link down below, 100% free today and on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays only. I'm cutting it off after that. Then I'm going to go and charge you nothing. All right, let's jump right into it. Fed Kashkari says June pause on rates wouldn't indicate an end to the hiking cycle. Well, why wouldn't it? Come on, Minnesota Fed president. Well, I think that he's looking at Janet Yellen's secret, don't tell anyone, secret meeting she had with a bunch of bank executives. And what did she say to them? That's what she said. You need to consolidate because half of you in this room are going out of business. And I know it's not Janet Yellen's fault because they're all blaming on Capitol Hill. They're all blaming the Fed, but Janet did her job. Well, we know that's bullshit. All right. Let's hope that they do have a pause and that they do see the light and that they're destroying the economy on what they've been doing as well as destroying the banking system, which, are you seeing any banks lend out any money? I don't think they're lending out anything because they don't have any money in those banks because everyone keeps withdrawing those money. All right, let's jump to the next one. Here's Orange County Register. Yes, it says, is the housing shortage overblown? This analyst thinks so. Well, I have great news for him. Let's go jump in the car and go to downtown Los Angeles and see the homeless population exploding. So that's called the trickle-down effect, pal. What happens is we're seeing so many houses out there, we're seeing that are not for sale, that everyone wants to stay in their house because there's nowhere to go. Because of that, you have all these buyers on the sideline, and there's a lot of buyers on the sideline, and they're waiting for those rates to come down because affordability isn't there with high rates and high prices. And because of that, you have people living at home. This generations are living in the same house, and they're piling up in them. Well, I'm wondering if he actually looked at Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or any of their statistics. They're saying that we're still 3 to 5 million homes short right now. If you go to the builders, and the number one place here in Southern California they're building is in Fontana, you'll notice that there are lines everywhere to buy homes in the 6, 7, 800,000s. It is insane. Even with the crazy rates today, I went there last week. I went to 2 different places last week, 2 different new home builders last week. One was just finishing up. They had sold all their homes in that community there in Lennar and Rupa Valley. The other one was a land and sea. It was, I went to the grand opening there. There were, you could always tell how busy it is when they have 3 food trucks there. 3 food trucks, and it was packed. People lined up. Everything they've been putting out there is sold. Even some of the $1 million properties that were there. I'm like, holy crap, $1 million in Fontana? You're kidding me. There are, and they're being snatched up. So I'm not sure what reasoning he has, but we're definitely seeing the number of people living in households continue to rise. We know that in this state, homeless is just out of control. Downtown LA, unfortunately, owning some properties down there, you drive down there, you feel a little depressed every time you go down there. The new mayor who preceded Garcetti, well, Garcetti was probably the worst mayor I've ever seen, but The new mayor's trying to get a handle on it, but the problem is there's no funds, and it's just going to be very, very hard to deal with. The city, I think, is going to be heading towards huge financial issues. There's just nothing that's going to be set. I mean, they're down thousands of workers there. They're down, thousands and thousands of police officers. The homeless are just kind of running the city, and it's becoming out of control. All right, let's go on to the next one. Consumer debt passes $17 trillion for the first time despite slide in mortgage demand. Yes, it keeps going up. I can't tell you this over and over again, guys. Pay your credit cards off. Credit card debt hit $1 trillion this month. Well, actually, last month, but the numbers come out the month after. $1 trillion. We're in debt. And guess what? We're in debt at some of the highest interest rates on credit cards ever. Are we really seeing the ripping between the middle class go in half? I mean, the ones that own homes, I keep saying this, you own a house, you have a viable property, then you have equity in your house right now. We haven't seen equity go down in probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So if you bought your house in the last 5, 6, 7 years or owned it even before then, you have a ton of equity in that house. That is your savings. And we don't see, as we continue to see inflation go up, we don't see this anytime changing. Will there be a housing correction? There'll absolutely be a housing correction. But just like in 2008, 2009, that correction went down 20, 30%. It came back 200% after that. Think about that. It just shot right back up. Anyone that bought their house in 2008, saw the 30% drop, is way up on their house today. So if you just kind of put that in your mind, get out of consumer debt. This is the number one reason why people aren't able to buy a house. Consumer debt leads to bad DTI, debt to income ratio, which leads to bad credit scores, which leads to bad decisions and becoming a renter for life. Please, please get out of debt. Stop spending your credit cards. If you have to, figure out a different plan. Change your lifestyle, but get into a house or a property which you own physical land. It's so important right now for this generation to understand. You're just gonna, otherwise you're just burning your money every single month, giving it to somebody else who's paying that with your money, paying their mortgage. All right, let's jump right into the interest rates. Friday was a debacle again, and this is why we saw the entire weekend very, very slow in open houses. Got a lot of reports. Did an open house on my listings myself, and you just didn't see the traffic come through. I mean, I get it. The sun's out, you're having fun, it's a good weekend, a lot of graduations going on, but I can point to this directly. Okay, we're looking at 30-year conforming up 5 basis points to 6.6 now. 30-year FHA up 4 basis points, on the verge of 6.55. Everyone's worried about the debt ceiling. The word on the street, and all these analysts are saying, well, if we go ahead and default, and mortgage interest rates are going to go in the 8s to 9s, anywhere falling in there. So what we're seeing is a lot of these companies are already adjusting for it. So with that being said, we want to make sure that if we're looking for a house, I would stay on the sidelines until we figured out this whole debt ceiling, to be very frank with you. If you found a house, like your dream house, and you got to have it. I mean, right now, there's not a whole lot of multiple offers the last week or so. Might be a good time. Otherwise, guys, let's continue to watch. This is a very, very important moment that's coming up here. 2 important moments in the next 30 days. It's going to be the debt ceiling negotiations, if we can get it done, and save $5 trillion, or is the Fed going to raise? So do me a favor, hit that like button. If you like this, would love to hear any of your comments below. Yes, you can call me anything you want. My girlfriend calls me all kinds of stuff all the time. And our producer, Emmy, well, we won't even go over what she even says. You guys have a good day. I will see you tomorrow.